It's time for another Wild Time to let you know what we've been up to, where we're at, and where we're going. And essentially, we've been spending a lot of time on the Oregon and Washington coast, more so than usual.
Yeah, we've visited the Oregon and Washington coast several times, but this is kind of the longest stretch of time that we've stayed in the area, and it's been great. We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We've enjoyed walking along the riverfront because we've just in between Oregon and Washington is where the Columbia River flows into the Pacific. So we've had the wonder of being able to just walk around the Columbia River shores as well as the Pacific Ocean. And so we've spent a lot of time walking the beaches. We've even done some of those beach talks that many of you have viewed and commented about, and it's just been absolutely wonderful. Like you said, I don't think there's been a time when we've spent months at along the coastal area. So this has been a delightful change for us since it was so hot inland. It just worked out really well.
Yeah, we really have enjoyed the food here. Bernie especially, he's a big seafood fan.
Yeah, Susan doesn't eat seafood, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah,
but, oh well.
But he's gotten to try a lot of different clam chowders.
Yeah, a lot of the world's best, and there's none better in the world type of things. But they're, how that goes. But anyway, they were all quite different, and so that was kind of yummy.
Yeah, and this area just has a lot of history, a lot of historical sites, a lot of Lewis and Clark history as well as other history, and so we've really enjoyed kind of exploring that.
Yeah, a lot of people from all over the world, those in what would be considered indigenous and otherwise. It's just a really great place to learn a lot about the past and how people lived, especially like in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's just been really really wonderful checking out a lot of those places. What else do we?
Yeah, another thing that I have really enjoyed about this area is the wildlife in this area. Yep. There's of course a lot of deer, but the elk, I mean, the elk that are in this area are just amazing. We see them walking across the soccer fields and having a little dinner, in the soccer fields, in people's front yards. I mean, they're just
all along the roads. We're stopping for them pretty much every other day. We're stopping for some big bull elk or something, or a herd of cows.
They're big and they're just amazing. They're just really, really beautiful animals. So we've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and eagles. There's been more eagles than we've seen in a while. I know there's places to go, like Alaska and different places like that, where they congregate a lot. But it's just really nice to discover a pair somewhere, or just where you don't expect to have an eagle encounter. It's just been wonderful to see that and be around it.
Yeah, and the sea lions, I always get a kick out of the sea lions. You'll pull into some place along the river, a restaurant or something, you open your car door and you just hear them just making all this noise, and it just makes me smile.
Yeah, they're quite abundant in this area up in the southern Washington and northern Oregon coastal areas. They're just all over the place. So that's been really good. And another thing that's been really big lately has been meeting people. I mean, we've just been meeting so many people, just obviously from traveling and things like that, but also people that have been viewing our videos, have been coming up to us in restaurants and stores, convenience stores, along the beach, on highways, pulling over on highways when they see us and talking to us. So it's just been really wonderful meeting a lot of you viewers, and that has really been quite interesting to hear what other people are up to. And
it's just amazing to meet people that watch the videos, and we really appreciate it so much, and we just love when you stop and say hi.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Spending so much time on the coast, we have noticed a few things that we maybe didn't really think about that would be different here, but
yeah, we kind of knew about it, but I guess we were just immersed in it a lot more. And one of the big things was humidity. In the summer, even in inland, at a lot of places that we've been, we've basically put our dehumidifier away, and that's essentially what we did before this summer too, and quickly got it back out because it was quite humid. And when we put the dehumidifier on in the RV, it just makes such a huge difference, because we have the humidity being monitored in 3 areas, and forward, aft, and midship. Basically, you know, it's just we've got them all over the place, and it helps us just keep an eye on it, because water is really one of the most destructive things to an RV. It can get into everything and just wreak havoc. So you might not even be aware of what's going on, but when we turn on the dehumidifier, we have what was a 70-pint unit, and it's been really good to us for several years now, and it's taken so much water. Pretty much every day that thing would fill up, and we'd be dumping it out in the shower. It does have a hose connector where we could just leave it, but we just didn't want all that, so we just let it automatically shuts off when it's full, and so we're usually around when that happens, or come in shortly thereafter, and we just go ahead and empty it. It's no big deal. But it's been taking out, you know, a big amount of water that would be in our bedding and in our clothes and in our walls and in our floor.
We noticed right away that our clothes would feel damp. The towels from the shower would just take forever to dry. And I guess because it was summer, we really didn't anticipate needing that dehumidifier so much, but it has been just really wonderful to have that.
Humidity's been a big thing, and then the cooler temps too, which, you know, stands to reason. But, you know, anytime you're near large bodies of water, and the Pacific is a large body of water, you get a lot of cooler air that comes in, and more so than we did anytime inland. So, of course, we recognize that when we come over to visit, but usually it would be for weekends or a week at a time. You know, but this you know, at a month at a time, you really get immersed into the situation. And so the cooler temps were definitely something. We found ourselves wearing windbreakers, and of course Susan's got a parka on in the summer
all the time. And even when it's sunny and warm out, if the wind comes up, the wind will almost always be chilly, so you definitely kind of get used to that. Another
thing that was observed while being on the coast was the cell and Wi-Fi service was very limited. We have a Verizon account and hotspot, and we found ourselves just in the larger towns on the coast struggling sometimes to get a signal, and that would go and come for whatever reason, but it definitely was a lot more noticeable, the lack of service, than other places that we've been inland. So that was something, and we ended up finding places to upload videos. You know, that we went around and we tested the Wi-Fi at several places, and some of the places that we tested it were places that, you know, coffee shops that people would say, oh, you know, that's where you're going to get the best or what have you, but they ended up being very poor signals, in probably because, once again, the area that we're in. But we did find one place that had extremely great upload speeds, and it wasn't necessarily a place that we wanted to frequent or ever do frequent, but we ended up going there, and it was a Burger King. Just let you know. Nothing against Burger King for those of you that like that, but it's just usually not on our itinerary. But we ended up going there and uploading videos, and we'd make a purchase, and then we were able to get it in and out in like 10-15 minutes, really super fast. So anyway, you just have to try to find those places that you can access for work or whatever. And so, and speaking of work, that was another thing that we did more while on the coast. We spent a lot of time working this summer. We did a lot of seminars and outdoor programs and guided hikes, and then work camping. So we've been doing a lot of that, and that's probably made some of our video output suffer a little bit. We apologize for that, but we're heading into what we feel like is a time where that's going to increase some more. So anything else that you can think of that kind of
other than, you know, that those were kind of the major,
I think so. So humidity, cooler temps, and the Wi-Fi and cell service were quite noticeable. Just having spent months on the coast.
Something that we enjoyed doing while we were on the coast here is they have a lot of breweries, local breweries along the coast, and they have something called a passport program where you get this card, and if you visit so many of the breweries and get a stamp from there, then you get a commemorative glass at the end. And so that was something that Bernie wanted to give a try. So.
Yeah, it's like called the beer trail or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Craft beer trail.
I think they list 12 of them on the card that's on the northern Oregon coast. And when you get them all punched and or signed off, and then at the end you get the glass that Susan mentioned. I'd say that probably the ones that I enjoyed, I think, were the ones that had the food to go with it, you know, that was pretty good. So I liked Fort George in Astoria. That was really good. And then Astoria Brewing Company. In one of our prior videos, we did something about the Wet Dog Cafe. Well, that's the Astoria Brewing Company there. So we've eaten there and had beer there, and even spent some time with our friends Tim and Donna there. That was really good. And then we've also spent time with John and Christina, our friends. So I believe we went there too. So we enjoy that place a lot. And let's see, Fort George, Bowie, right down a little bit from Astoria Brewing Company. That one's really good. And then there are a few Pelican Brewery places on the coast that we like. So Pelican, Fort George, Bowie, and Astoria Brewing Company is probably the four that I like. But we went to 10 of them. They were all good in their own way. And we ended up getting the card all filled out and everything, and got the glass. But that was just the icing on the cake. I enjoyed the food and the beer, so I got what I wanted out of it without the glass. So
so that was fun. Just, you know, as kind of gives you some direction in exploring, is just to try to hit those different places. Another kind of day trip that we did that was a lot of fun was heading up to Long Beach, Washington. Not Long Beach, California, but Long Beach, Washington, and actually has a sign that says it's the world's longest beach. And
that's kind of up
I guess there's a lot of quantifiers to that. The largest drivable peninsula beach or something, I don't know, but they still have their arch that says that it's the world's longest beach.
Well, it's a long beach, so the town's named appropriately. Whether it's the longest long beach, we don't know precisely, but I guess they have some way of saying it's the longest drivable beach. But you can drive on it for quite a ways, as you can many of the beaches that we've went to, and some of the beaches the driving just seems out of place, but for the most part people get the program. They know where to drive and where not to drive. So I mean, that's been working pretty well, at least in our experience.
A couple people get stuck, but they get out pretty quickly.
we actually saw some news images of a small van that would probably be not good for riding in the driving in the sand anyway due to traction, but it was pulling a small travel trailer, and all of it got caught in the surf, and I guess it was a total loss. It just wiped it out. But anyway, I'd say the Long Beach thing was kind of interesting. It's a little touristy, but if you want a long walk on the beach, that's the place to go. There was a museum there called Marsh's Museum.
Marsh's Free Museum.
Marsh's Free Museum, and the word "free" stuck out. So we went in there, and it's basically a huge gift shop with oddities all over the ceiling and the walls, and dispersed throughout the museum, or gift shop, if you will. Let's see, there was that
Jake the Alligator Man.
Yeah, Jake the Alligator Man's in there, and apparently his birthday's in August, so they have a big celebration there. And there's I don't know, shrunken heads and two-headed calves, and what else? There's just, it's mostly just a lot of weird things, but some of the fun stuff to look at in there was some of the antiques. I thought those were pretty neat. They're pretty much all over the walls. And what else in town there? We just went around, checked out some of the food, and
ice cream. They had ice cream shop with 64 flavors or something of ice cream.
Susan went crazy over that.
I had to check that out.
I didn't actually get any, but Susan enjoyed that. And but anyway, Long Beach was pretty interesting. It wasn't bad drive. It's a beautiful drive to get there, so we enjoyed it.
It was a nice day.
And we came up from the south, so we went over the what do you call it, Astoria Megler Bridge, and that what is that, like 4.5 miles across the Columbia from northern Oregon to southern Washington. So that's it's a pretty impressive bridge, I'd say.
Recently, we've been doing a lot of maintenance and repairs. Had a few days off to make some repairs and some upkeep things. A little more than we'd like,
Yeah, and it just seems like when you start things, of course, a lot of times, as we all know, they don't always go as planned. So there's a little bit more to it. We decided that we needed. Well, we didn't decide. I guess the truck decided for us that it was time for new batteries. And because we have a diesel truck, it requires two 12-volt batteries,
large, heavy batteries,
150 a piece type thing, to get the truck even started. So we recently replaced both of those, and of course it was very tight to work with. And believe it or not, and you probably do believe it, but the bolts on the batteries on one side are not the same as the ones on the other side. They're, I think one was standard, one was metric. It was just really bizarre.
Weird.
And it's from the factory that way. It's not a third party or aftermarket type of deal. It's just the way it came. So we ended up swapping out the batteries, and of course there's a screw way down at the bottom that you got to get to. And anyway, we got the batteries swapped out, and then one of the other things is fuel filters. That's something that we're doing on a regular basis. So fuel filter time again. So
two of those also.
Yes, two of those, and they're in different places. One's up in the engine compartment, the other one's way in the back by the back axle. So been working on that. And it seems like we have a little bit more left on our tires on the fifth wheel, but I think we're just going to go ahead and replace those before they look like they need it. Because if you get a blowout or something like that with them, it's an extreme expense. It's not like on a car for the most part. It just really could wreak havoc. And
had friends and relatives recently that have had blowouts on their fifth wheels, and it just, like Bernie said, it does way more damage than just if you have that on your car, because it'll rip into the side of the RV when that tire blows. And it's just really, there's no guarantee even with new tires that you're not going to have a blowout, but at least you're increasing your odds quite a bit. So
yeah, and I'll just be kind of stressing in the background, riding on them, wondering if it's, if they're going to go or whatever. And a TPMS system doesn't always tell you everything. I mean, it doesn't. It's not going to tell you what's going to happen instantaneously sometimes. So not that you don't want one of those, but that it's not always going to let you know. So anyway, it's good to get all that kind of stuff done, and we've been working on that. And then, of course, while we're doing those things, other things are popping up. We had the bed. We have a king-size bed, and as you know, in most of these RVs, underneath the bed there's a storage compartment, and we rarely have to go into that. But Susan was changing the bed sheets and noticed that the board underneath that covers the top of the storage compartment and then acts as the platform for the bed came loose. One of the hinges, I guess, came out of the wood, split the wood. And so about midnight, I went in there and had to replace some wood and attach the hinges and things like that. So just little repairs that are kind of unexpected that pop up. But anyway, we've been just spending time trying to get things in place that I think are probably crucial or very needed. And then when we get to another destination, we'll go ahead and do some of the other more maybe cosmetic things and stuff like that we want to change. But it's been a lot of time doing maintenance.
So what's next? Well, we're going to spend some time traveling through eastern Oregon and Idaho, and spend a little bit of time in Utah.
Yeah, we had such a wonderful time the last time we were in Utah. We went to Zion National Park. We did a video on that, and we just always knew that we'd have to get back there because it was just so wonderful. So we're hoping to go over there, spend some time exploring, and hopefully get out a video or two from over there. It's just going to be a great time. I just know it. I mean, it's just so picturesque and just absolutely wonderful. I had such a great time there, didn't you? It was just
Southern Utah is really, really amazing.
Yeah, we love it there. So we're hoping to have a good time over there. And something we'd like to thank those of you that have been getting our merch. We'd like to thank you for that, because it's really helping us. We do work still, and we've been working hard, and we try to produce, you know, some of the merchandise stuff. It's not a priority for us, but we really want to thank you, those of you that have gotten our stickers and the t-shirts and things like that. We do not only have the Wild on the Go, but we have the Log into Nature t-shirts, and we do have some other designs that we want to put up soon. A lot of sayings and stuff regarding travel and adventure. And it's just going to be a little bit. We're just always just packed with stuff going on. So we really hope to get those out, and hopefully sometime this year. And but thank you so much for getting that. It really does help us, and maybe it's a way of letting us know that you're enjoying the adventures that we present and the talks that we do and stuff like that. And if you can't do it, it's no bother. You know, our videos are free, so just enjoy them. We're just really happy that people are getting enjoyment out of our videos, and so we got a lot of bees over here.
So yeah, if you haven't checked out the merchandise page, please do that, and don't forget to share and subscribe. And thanks for watching.
Historical bunker of some kind. Ready to go in?
All right.
You don't want to go?
Not really.
It's perfectly nice in here. Look how far it goes back. Starting to get a little darker, a little grosser.
Yeah.
Some kind of nest, probably just some gigantic rat or something. So I'm gonna need my key light back here. Get my flashlight working. I got a little key chain light that I hope will light the way. Must be in the inner chamber. There's probably rat infestations in here.
This is creepy and it smells. Let's get out of here.
Where are you going? It's just kind of like a cement wall. Nothing really special. What the heck was that? Hey! No, door's locked.